Welcome. I am N.S. Lavanya, Assistant Professor, Department of English, KCS Kasinadar College of Arts and Science. In this video, let's have a look at loss and gain in translation. Once the principle is accepted that sameness cannot exist between two languages, it becomes possible to approach the question of loss and gain in the translation process. Moreover, what is often seen as lost from the SL context may be replaced in the TL context. For example, you can see that in Watt and Suray's translations of Petrarch. Eugenida gives information about the problems of loss in translation. He, in particular, talks about the difficulties encountered by the translator when faced with terms or concepts in the SL that do not exist in the TL. He cites the case of Guayaca, a language of southern Venezuela. There is little trouble in finding satisfactory terms for the English murder, stealing, lying, etc. Terms for good, bad, ugly, and beautiful cover a different area of meaning. Nida points out that the language does not follow a dichotomous classification of good and bad, but a trichotomous one as follows. In this language, good terms includes desirable, food, killing enemies, chewing dope in moderation, putting fire to one's wife to teach her to obey, and stealing from anyone not belonging to the same bat. Bad includes rotten fruit, any object with a blemish, murdering a person of the same band, stealing from a member of the extended family, and lying to anyone. Violating taboo includes incest, being too close to one's mother-in-law, a married woman's eating tapir before the birth of the first child, and a child's eating rodents. So these are very different terms which cannot be found equivalent in nether languages. Good and bad terms meant different to them. The large number of terms in Finnish for variations of snow, in Arabic for aspects of camel behavior, in English for light and water, in French for types of bread, all present the translator with, on one level, an untranslatable problem. I hope you understood the meaning. Let's look at more explanation. Bible translators have documented the additional difficulties involved in it. For example, the concept of the Trinity or the social significance of the parables in certain cultures. In addition to the lexical problems, there are of course languages that do not have tense systems or concepts of time that in any way correspond to Indo-European systems. Worf's comparison, which may not be reliable but is cited here as a theoretical example, between a temporal language and a timeless language. When such difficulties are encountered by the translator, the whole issue of the translatability of the text is raised. There are number of scholars who have talked about untranslatability. Here, I am just doing a recap of Catford distinguished between two types of untranslatability: linguistic and cultural untranslatability. Linguistic untranslatability is due to the differences in SL and the TL. Cultural untranslatability is due to the absence in the TL culture of a relevant situational feature for the SL text. So, these are some of the issues in translation. I hope you understood the meaning of loss and gain in translation. Thanks for watching. We meet again in the next video with another interesting topic.